Welcome to a four-part series of an introduction to PubMed. As you can see here, part one, we're going to go through the introduction. We'll talk about the medical subject heading. We'll learn how to do simple searches and how to save in part one. In part two, we'll learn how to download PDFs, how to upload PDFs to Evernote. In part three, we'll talk about eigenfactor and how to search this for journal impacts in your particular specialty. Then we'll create what's called an RSS feed, which stands for Real Simple Syndication, for the table of contents of the journals that you're interested in Google Reader. And finally, in part four, we'll talk about how to use NetNewsWire as an RSS reader of the table of contents. So now we'll get started in part one, and we will look at PubMed initially. So I type it in the Google search box, hit the Google search button, and now we're in PubMed. Now I'm signed in as myself, and I would recommend that you do this as well. You can create an account. It's free, and it's extremely helpful. Now, PubMed basically is the search engine for the National Library of Medicine on a database called Medline. Currently, there are around 17 million articles. This covers 7,000 journals. And I'm going to show you how to get started. It's a two-part process. It's very simple. You come here to the left side and you see Mesh Database. This is how the journals and all the articles are indexed. It stands for Medical Subject Heading. Medical Subject Heading. And basically this is keywords placed in a database, and this is how it's done. So we'll start out with something simple. We're going to do a search about lower respiratory infections. And we click yes, and we don't see this. So we're going to look at upper respiratory or respiratory tract infections. So we'll go to the closest thing we can find. Now, as you can see from this page, there are a lot of buttons that you can push. But if you want the entire topic, and this is everything that's indexed under this, you want to click respiratory tract infection and restrict this to a major topic heading here. Then you send this to the search box. Now, you see this is, up here we have the mesh search, right here we have the search PubMed. So we've already done this search. Now if you want to add a search to this, you can certainly do this, and we can do this. So we'll search influenza. So let's look at influenza, human influenza. We'll do the same thing. Restrict it, and then we're going to send this to the search box with an AND. That's called a Boolean operator, named after George Boole, B-O-O-L-E. So we click this. It automatically has this topic. The AND is a Venn diagram with those two circles that intersect, and influenza. Now we're ready to do a search. So we search PubMed. Now I have these tabs set up here, and you can set up the ones like you like by clicking on this box here, and you can arrange these. You have 5 choices, and you can arrange them however you want. I would strongly encourage you to do the randomized controlled trial tab. This is where the real money is in medicine, I think. So we can scroll down and see some of these articles. Here's one about influenza immunization and pregnancy. So we click on this and we get the abstract. Here are related articles over here that you can click on. This is a way to get the full text. We'll go on this in part 2. If we're going to, I'm going to go back to the search. So now we're going to show you how to save this search, because this is going to change from day to day. So you save the search, you click save. I don't like the emails reminder because it'll inundate your email box. So just click save, and I'll show you how to get the searches later. So now let's say we've logged in at a separate time. We have nothing in our search box, but you want to go back to that same search. Go to My NCBI right here. I've added this to my collection, so there's a lot in here. But here's respiratory tract infection and influenza. If you go to this and click on this, this will bring you right back to the search, and it will update the search as needed. So this is going to conclude part one. In this thing, we have gone over the introduction. We have looked at the mesh subject heading. We've taught you how to search something and how to save. And in part two, the next one, we'll talk about how to download a full text and how to upload a PDF to something called Evernote. Thank you so much for your time. And if you have questions, email me at sammankin, SAMMANKIN, @gmail.com.